look like Harry Potter.
These are not Harry Potter-esque.
Thank you.
These are
Thank you.
It's literally called the Scholar.
They literally look like those are more Harry Potter than your other ones.
Oh.
You went more round.
Thank you. I had straight round ones, and those were. I got teased by those. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Murray. Yeah, my other ones are wide, but that's why I switched. Yeah, I just started wearing readers, so I'm trying to figure out am I going to use them or not, because I made my font bigger. But hold off. I'm a late hold, and I just like a month ago started. So.
Well, I was like, she goes, here's the master list. And I said, it's different already. She's like, oh yeah, they just started showing up. I was like, so, okay. So now I'm going to have to like.
I just told her I didn't even want to. I just told her I'm not even going to look at that. I'm just going to go with what's on this program.
Oh no. But we're not going to read all the names. We're just reading the names of people who are here.
No, we're reading all of them. That's what I was told.
By who? Okay.
Brittany, I think, told me. You're reading all the names.
But like, I don't know how to say all the names.
I don't know who's here and who's not here.
I don't know how to say the other. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know how to say some of these names. Okay, so we'll just read all the names. Okay. Okay, you're starting at M. I'll just be like this. Read this one.
I know. That's fine. You do what. Yeah. I mean, I have like 4 different lists printed. Whatever you want. This is a master list with everybody's name. You can do off the program if you want. However you want to do it. It's fine. Yeah. However you guys want to do it. I'm also fine with telling the kids take your name.
Good evening. I'm Iowa City West Principal Mitch Gross, and I'm incredibly honored and excited to welcome you this evening to the 2024 Iowa City West High School National Honor Society induction ceremony. Students, parents, families, faculty, and staff, thank you for joining us for this celebration. I want to begin tonight's presentation by thanking our keynote speaker, Dr. Miriam Murray. Dr. Murray is a former student of mine, although I never had her in class. I had her older brother and her younger brother, and unfortunately I missed her, which sounds like maybe I missed the best of the clan. You can tell your brothers I said that, but we are very, very honored to have you with us here tonight, Dr. Murray. Scholarship, service, leadership, and character. These four pillars of National Honor Society embody our two student speakers, Michael Lee and Priscilla Kanagi. Michael is a shining example of what it means to be a scholar who consistently exhibits impeccable character. He's been an outstanding ambassador for West High School in many areas, as a member of our renowned Science Olympiad team and as a state qualifying cross-country runner. Michael's favorite class at West has been AP Chemistry with Ms. Wickner, because he loved the community she fostered, because students were so comfortable in class they were able to ask good questions, which often ignited stimulating discussions. Michael plans to pursue a pre-med track, and speaking with him as of last Thursday, he had not made a decision on where to continue his education. Are we still at that point, Michael? We're still waiting. Our second speaker will be Priscilla Kanagi. Priscilla is a lover of both the spoken and the written word, as well as the arts. She's been a standout clarinetist with our band program, as well as a member of Theater West set crew. Her favorite classes have been African American literature, AP literature, and AP composition. Both have fueled her passion for reading and writing, as well as the critical thinking skills she will need to thrive in the world. In fact, as I was writing this speech today, I put in my inbox, which I always do, the student's names to see if it strikes anything, and something came up, Priscilla, from junior high, an email dated September 24th, 2019, in which you were recognized by a teacher, and this teacher said this about you. Priscilla is an extraordinary student. She is missing class due to cross-country and has requested to come into Trojan Time to work on what she will miss. She is so dependable and so responsible. She is definitely going places. Priscilla is indeed going places. She'll be studying English and creative writing, and she hopes to become a novelist. And as of this morning, she had not yet finalized where she will be continuing her education. I'm assuming that's still the case, Priscilla? All right, so it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce the student speakers for the 2024 Iowa City West High School Student National Honor Society induction ceremony, Michael Lee and Priscilla Kanagi.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Mr. Gross, and thank you all for joining us in tonight's ceremony. You know, I am so excited to stand before you as one of the speakers, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to present to such a talented group of students, staff, and family. And you know, for these ceremonies, I always feel like there's a pressure for me to share something really awe-inspiring, something that, you know, will change how you live day to day, but I couldn't come up with something that inspirational. So instead, I would like to start off this ceremony with a little bit of a thought experiment, and feel free to just shout out answers. How many McChicken sandwiches from McDonald's do you think that you could eat in one sitting? 100. I think I heard 100. Wow, that's quite the appetite. I'm sure McDonald's would love to have you as their customer. Well, that's really impressive, because for me, that number is 5. And this was an unfortunate statistic that I discovered one afternoon several years ago after going to a McDonald's. While I was standing in line, I remember looking over at the prices. Now, I normally order a Big Mac, which is about $7 at the time. But then, I noticed how a McChicken only costs about $1 each. And so I thought to myself, instead of buying one big burger, why don't I buy many smaller burgers? It's good value. And so that's how I ended up ordering 7 McChickens. 7 of them. I got a lot of weird stares that day. But I like to think they were all just jealous stares, though, because that first sandwich, it was great. The second sandwich, fantastic. And the third sandwich, phenomenal. But the fourth one, yikes. I knew I had crossed a boundary when everything started to taste the same. But if the fourth burger was a mistake, then the fifth burger was pure stupidity. Because on the car ride back home, I kept on throwing up in my mouth, as if Ronald McDonald himself didn't want me to forget the taste of his sandwiches so soon. Let's just say that I didn't want to touch another chicken sandwich for the next couple of months. But as funny as the story is, I share it today because I find the situation really similar to my time in high school. As a senior, I find myself doing a lot of reflection on my high school experience. Who am I? How have I spent these last few years? Immediately, there is one answer that jumps out at me: studying. I studied a lot between my freshman and senior years to compete in various science competitions. So if there's one thing that I'll remember from these past 4 years, it'll probably be taking notes from a textbook or goofing around at these competitions. I've had a lot of fun just engaging with the sciences, but looking back, I really feel like I could have done a lot better in terms of how I spent my time. Specifically, if I could tell my younger self one thing, it would be to stop studying so much. Go touch some grass, something like that. Because as much as I've enjoyed being a science nerd, something that I've come to realize is that my high school experience left little room for personal growth. I spent so much time studying cell biology, chemistry, or plants every day that I didn't even stop to consider exploring activities outside of the sciences. Yeah, studying sucked sometimes, but I still stuck with it because in my mind, I had already spent so much time and effort into the sciences that it would be a waste not to continue doing it. I was the science guy, and nothing could change my mind about that. But looking back, this kind of dumb thinking was exactly the kind of logic that I used all those years ago at McDonald's. It's like I spent so much time forcing down the last few McChickens on my plate that I never even stopped to consider, did I even like those McChickens? No. I mean, the first few were fine, but like, there comes a point where you have to ask yourself, you know there are other items on the menu, right? Like, there are better ways to spend your money at McDonald's than buying 7 of the same things. Similarly, there are better ways to spend your time in high school than limiting yourself to one activity. This was a lesson that I learned last year when I chose to get involved with something that I thought I never would, which was cultural dancing. Something you should know about me is that I'm not the most outgoing person, nor do I have a background in dancing. So when I promised myself that I would train in front of hundreds of audience members at local festivals, it felt like I was actively seeking out public embarrassment. Like, I spent weeks powering through my practices, and before each performance, I would just sit there staring at my shoes for a couple of minutes just to prepare myself mentally. Now, I make it sound like this was an awful experience, and it was, but only for a little bit, because when everything was said and done, it was so refreshing, and I was so proud of myself to just be able to throw myself out there and to explore a new side of myself. And now, I can call myself an amateur dancer as well as a scientist, and I've never been happier. So, my challenge to you today is to try something new, to explore new parts of yourself and develop as a person. You can start small, like learning how to play badminton or picking up photography. Maybe you could try learning how to cook or sing. But no matter how you choose to grow, do expect some challenges. Do expect some discomfort. But I believe in all of you. If you've made it this far, I'm sure you can achieve great things. So, the moral of the story, swap out a few of the McChickens for fries next time. Diversify your McDonald's order as well as your life experiences. And I promise that you will thank yourself on the car ride back home and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I went the more non-traditional route for my speech. It is a free verse long poem, so it is titled Someone. I've always wondered what it means to be someone, what it feels like to taste success, to experience fulfillment so great you wonder if anything can charge your soul and leave your taste buds tingling like only that feeling could. I imagine that someone is eating a perfect cake, one that is expertly crafted by their hands, hands destined for greatness, and academic records so clean and smooth like buttercream. Various achievements making for artful decorations, a reward here, a recognition there, lining the cake's edges from top to bottom. That cake comes together, layer after layer, obtaining the best of the best. Each one sturdier, more delightful than the last, until it seems to dwarf the tallest of towers. And I can't help but be inspired to make my own cake, the ultimate marker of success, to finally be someone. I start, of course, by following a recipe. Step 1, find a suitable interest, one that is perfect, no exceptions, even if they all sound enjoyable, like discovering the world through literature, film, people, explaining its behaviors with data and observations, redefining definitions, embracing community with others, and capturing it all with the mindful caress of a brush. But no, one, and only one. Stick to the recipe, smooth out the threatening air bubbles containing messages from the heart, sent from the presence of the soul. The cake has to look like success, smell like it, taste like it. There is only one cake, one recipe, one cake, one interest, one that'll make me someone. Step 2, specialize. Take the courses, get the grades, lead the clubs, set the bar higher and higher because it can always be higher. Push myself harder. The sweat will only enrich the taste when I get there. Let it sting my eyes and water the weary roots of my soul, and trust it'll be worth it when I become someone. Step 3, climb. Perfect the smile, keep up appearances, smell the ingredients coming together, and weed out the ones that don't fit, that taint the image. Leave no room for mistakes. I can already envision that first taste so close. And so I climb and climb, looking to the image of the perfect cake that'll make no one someone. The cake is made, perfect, flawless, the epitome of success. I take the first bite and wait. Wait for that taste, that warm embrace. And it never comes. I look to the people who are someone, and they grin, broad smiles playing on their lips, and I eat again and feel like no one. The recipe called and I answered every step of the way, so why do I still feel like no one? I should have done more, been more, I should be someone. I refer back to the recipe, victorious check marks beside each step, and an ache settles in my stomach, leaving a hole that is now housing my soul, still left unheard. So I take another bite, forcing that ache to subside, to fill the space, willing the bite to make me someone. It doesn't, because the cake is hollow. The cake is hollow. I tasted nothing, felt nothing, because the cake was hollow. How then can you be fulfilled with a hollow cake? Fill it. Transform that shape, that false form of success, into the soul-enriching dessert it was always meant to be. Fill it with all the interest, not just one. Fill it with mistakes and achievements alike, both working as one to satisfy that hunger. Fill it with tears of joy and sadness. Use your smiles raised to cultivate growth itself. Fill it with the large expanse of your very soul. Be the maker, the creator, the follower, the leader. Bake your own cake with everything it needs to be yours. and heed the message from your soul, now loud and clear in tandem with your heart. You were someone yesterday. You are someone today. You'll be enough, everything, and more tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you both, Priscilla, for those wonderful words, so poignant. And Michael, thank you for your words as well. Michael, your story reminded me years and years ago, one of my first years here at West, I was teaching AP Economics, and what you described with your McChicken is the concept of diminishing marginal utility. And I once had an interesting way to teach that. Whether you're a teacher or a student, you never want to get called to the principal's office. And the morning after I did this lesson, I was called to Dr. Argenbright's office, the old principal, because I had taught this concept with candy corn. It was around Halloween time, and we had students eat as much candy corn. And same thing, the first couple pieces of candy corn tasted so well and so good, and the next piece didn't taste as good. And there's always a few smart Alecks that wanted to eat the entire bag. But what they and I hadn't realized was that the next period, this was 5th period, 6th period, they had to do the PACER test in PE. And that's why their mother called and asked why had Mr. Gross fed them a bag of candy corn in AP Economics. Anyway, Ms. Walling won't be doing that. And we are so very lucky and honored to have our faculty sponsor of the National Honor Society, Ms. Carolyn Walling. Ms. Walling is an influential teacher, whether leading labs in chemistry or shepherding our students through the various state and national science fairs. She has played a tremendous role in the lives of many, many students. Please welcome to the stage Iowa City West sponsor of the National Honor Society, Ms. Carolyn Walling.
As you'll soon see, I am not a good speaker like our student speakers. The National Honor Society is the nation's premier organization established to recognize outstanding high school students for their academic achievement. These students demonstrate excellence in the areas of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. NHS was established in 1921 by the National Association of Secondary School Principals. Today, more than 1 million students annually participate in activities of the National Honor Society and its middle-level counterpart, the National Junior Honor Society. All of you have met that criteria to become members, and for that you should be very proud. It is my pleasure today to present today's speaker, Dr. Miriam Murray, who joined the West High chapter of NHS in 2005. After West High, Dr. Murray attended the University of Iowa and received her bachelor's degree in psychology and stayed on at Iowa to get her MD. After medical school, she completed her residency training in obstetrics and gynecology at the Medical College of Wisconsin in Milwaukee. She joined the faculty of the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics in 2019. Professionally, her special focuses are in medical education and transgender medicine, as well as general pregnancy care and reproductive wellness. She lives in Iowa City with her husband, her 2 children, and her 2 cats. Dr. Murray had two teachers at West High who you might also have had, Ms. Wickner and Ms. Barnhouse. Both told me she was an amazing student. Ms. Barnhouse said, "Any day Miriam was in school, I knew we were going to have a good discussion in class. She challenged all of her classmates in a good way." Her chemistry teacher said that Miriam learned the hard way why we always wear closed-toed shoes in lab. I asked Dr. Murray about this incident, and she said it was no big deal. So I asked Ms. Wickner again, and she said it was the worst accident that happened under her watch during her academic career. Please welcome our speaker today, Dr. Miriam Murray, and who thankfully is wearing closed-toed shoes.
It really wasn't that bad. I am so honored to be here tonight and to congratulate all of you as you celebrate this really awesome achievement. This is actually the first time I have been to a National Honor Society induction ceremony. I missed my own because I actually wasn't in the National Honor Society. I know. when I was in high school, if you'd given me the chance to predict what my life would look like in 2024, it would not have been even close to the ballpark. I would not have guessed I would have had the chance to be here speaking to you tonight. And that actually gives me a really good segue into the main morsel of insight I'm hoping I can send home with you tonight, which is that life is not a straight line from point A to point B. You are going to be absolutely stunned by the things that both you and the people around you do. And the only way to do that is to stay curious and to stay open to the opportunities the world offers you, knowing that that's going to open doors that you haven't even thought to picture yet. So to go back to me and the fact that I wasn't in the National Honor Society, at the beginning of high school, I was not an A student or often even a B student. I really could not be bothered to try, and I didn't really think that my high school education was particularly important. I was distracted from school by virtually everything. My friends, my romantic interests, arguing with my two brothers over who got to drive the 1996 Honda Accord that weekend, hacking the screen time limiting software my parents had installed on the family computer, pretty much anything but studying for Spanish or completing my algebra homework. And so I coasted with a 3.0 GPA for my first year of high school, thus not being a National Honor Society. But one of the many ways that my life has really been steeped in privilege is that my family and many of my teachers saw the alternative paths that I hadn't considered. They saw the power behind my passion and my curiosity, and they pushed me to make one of the first of many big changes in my life trajectory. I went from being a person who didn't really try to being a person who did. And that really was much scarier than being a person who didn't try. When you start trying, it means that you can fail. It means that the reality is that sometimes you can give something your all, and it still is not enough. But as I mentioned, it also opens up your world. And since then, I've done a lot of trying and a lot of failing, but also a lot of unexpected succeeding. And since that big turning point, I've had a lot of other ones. When I graduated from high school, I was very sure I was headed to a career in politics or journalism. Then by the end of college, I knew I was going to medical school, but I thought I would be a psychiatrist, and I was sure that I would live somewhere very far from the Midwest. And now I'm an obstetrician gynecologist at a renowned academic hospital that also happens to be in my hometown. And at any point in my life, if you had asked me where I'd be in 10 years, I would have been wrong. And I'm actually so glad that that's the case. So I'm sure that many of you have a very good idea of what you want to do with your life. You may know where you're planning to go to college or where you want to go to college, what you're going to study, what kind of career you'll have. You might think you know where you're going to live or what kind of family you'll have, and it's possible that you're completely right. But to be honest, I hope that you're at least a little bit wrong. I want to encourage you to stay open to exploring the things that you're curious about. Taking the elective that doesn't make sense on your transcript that might introduce you to something that'll change the course of your professional life, to spending time getting to know interesting people, people that may end up becoming your dear friend or even the love of your life. Give yourself and those around you the space to explore and discover. And if you see one of your friends changing and growing, let them. Same thing for yourself, let yourself. There will be missteps and letdowns and pain, and there will be moments where it feels like you've had a failure that's going to be terminal, but it probably isn't actually the end, and it may actually be the jumping off point for something new and very rewarding in your life. And I'm sure that my life still has a ton of surprises ahead too. I've gained the perspective at this point to know that my current vision of what my life will look like in 10 years is probably not accurate. And to me, that's very exciting. Having the chance to speak to those of you who have so much excitement and change ahead of you is a great reminder that I also need to stay open to the possibilities of life and the way the world is going to change in ways that I can't even imagine. So, in conclusion, I'm going to give you 3 actually very specific pieces of advice that are more based on my area of medical expertise as a gynecologist than anything else. So this is the part I really want you to listen to. Are you all listening? Okay, number 1. Your body is your own, and only you get to decide what to do with it. It is the only one you get, and it is a necessary vehicle to carry you through your life, so treat it well. This applies to other people's bodies as well. Number 2, which is related. If you decide to get a tattoo the month that you turn 18, I really recommend putting it somewhere on your body that you can hide it. Because in 20 years, there is a very good chance that you are going to be happy the naked fairy is on your foot and not your arm. And on the topic of things that are forever, Herpes is very common, and the withdrawal method is really not very effective, so I really recommend condoms. And that is the end of what I have to say. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Murray. That was great. My name is Shannon Arkfeld. I'm one of the school counselors here, and I get the opportunity to recognize some seniors tonight. First off, we have some returning seniors that were inducted last year, and we're actually going to have them introduce themselves. So.
Just name? Okay. I'm Joe Corlett, returning from last year.
I'm Robert Stong.
My name is Kamakshi Kachol.
Thank you for coming back and supporting your fellow classmates. And now I would like to have our new senior inductees come up, and we will read off your names. So I'm going to read these in order. Okay. We have Paris Bond, Justin Butner, Grace Chain, Charlotte DeLowry, Madeline Fincham, Elena Garcia Van Auken, Delmira Jara, Julia Kiernan, Kendra Mesher, Ali Mustafa, Haider Nassar, Benjamin Nagunza, Emma Semler, Ian Wells, and Maya Wendt. And now I'd like to introduce Miss Jenny Eustace to induct part of our junior class, and then Miss Liz Bruning.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to read all of the names of the new juniors, so you might see some of them across the stage, and others we're just gonna, hold our applause to the very end. All right, so these are our new junior National Honor Society inductees. Mohammed Abdallah, Sam Abdel Malik, Gavin Abelyana, Janan Abudaga, Leon Ahmed, Taylor Ajax, Saif El Basri, Chloe Albright, Iyad Ali, Omnia Ali. Okay, I feel like it's kind of quiet, so maybe like a nice, gentle applause as people walk across would make me feel a little more comfortable. That would be great. And you guys too, you deserve applause. Yeah, okay, thank you. All right. Claire Alou. This is much better. Yes, thank you. Olivia Anderson. Samtuchoku Anyoya. Evelyn Essay. Eli Asper. Rowan Babakir. Elle Barnett. Avery Bartlett. Grace Bartlett. Ajay Bernether. Amit Bahat. Rowan Behune. Cage Blackburn. Miriam Blake. Sophia Bowden. Mika Bowden. Ashlyn Brady. Nyla Breheny. Grant Brownlee. Maxwell Bruss. Ava Bruxvert. Declan Bunn. Isabel Sanar. Cassandro Chan. Erwin Charles. Andrew Chen. Karu Chinchilla. Aiden Choi. Maeve Christians. Carl Christensen. Olaf Christofferson. Aubriana Cox. Caden Crabtree. Emery Crawford. Addison Cribbs. Sasha Cruz. Aaron Das. Anna Dickens. Sabrina Dew. Catherine Dupuis. Haneen El Tayeb. Phoebe Ephraim Gill. Eva Esch. Piper Felduto. Emma Fish. Noel Fletcher. Michael Fulmer. Sadie Frisvold. Danielle Fuentes. Jordan Gamia. Thomas Gibson. Sophia Goers. Fiona Graber. Naomi Greiner. Mary Danielle Gross. Abby Guo. Emily Hagawara. Claire Hahn. Hayden Hakes. Jade Hardy. Ishan Harwani. Robert Havens. Ivy Hendrickson. Khaled Higo. Martin Hoger Pinto. Jacob Hollenbeck. Tina Hong. Erin Horning. Hannah Hotzenpiller. Waylon Houchins Witt. Neil Houston. Derek Hua. Stella Hunter. Danya Hussein. Kim Hyun. Shafali Hyun. Zera Elrehesoy. Avonlea Jones. Joshua Kanegi. Christian Kim. Olivia King. Reem Kirja. Olivia Kirk. Owen Knight. Rhea Knight. Ian Krosky. Miley Cruz. Peter Lake. Claire Lawler. Jesse Lee. Tiff Lieberman. Joseph Lynn. Ephraim Liu. Gianna Louis. Yifan Louis. Anjali Lode. Addison Long. I said your name at the wrong. Reem, how dare I? Reem Kirja. Where was I? Henry Liu. Sin Luena. Maddox Lyons. And now I'm going to switch with Miss Bruning.
Jelani Mack. Gabriel Mangan. Lucinda Maxwell. Eli Mays. Jack McCaffrey. Lily McConnell. Jonas McClaskey. Anthony Medina. Kai Merrill. Mila Miller-Jacobs. Keith Moody. Ava Moore. Benjamin Murilli. Sophia Musatescu. Declan Nabhan Warren. Fatima Naveed. Davis Nepple. Annika Nguyen. Vincent Nguyen. Ashley Nimick. Catherine Nims. Nicholas Nixon. Brooklyn Knock. Katie Nodia. Megan O'Neill. Mackenzie Oberbrockling. Brady Olson. Sophia Ullman. Max Peck. Emily Phillips. Jonathan Pierce. Tessa Pitcher. Avery Plank. Alexandra Posnikov. Diksha Raghavan. Tia Ramatala. Mradani Ramkumar. Genevieve Ray. Holden Rebich. Allison Reed. Grayson Reed. Robert Rauenhaust. Rana Saba. Jay Sansbury. Juliana Salas. Rachel Shafba. Lucy Shao. Alexander Schmidt. Josie Schwartz. Orion Shaw. Michael Shonrock. Samuel Showers. Harper Smith. Jordan Smith. Anna Song. Lauren Spence. Isabel St. Aubin. Marie Steer. Emily Stong. Marissa Stong. Junzi Sun. Seraphim Sergaladze. Cooper Swales. Zach Tager. Vera Tanas. Crosby Taylor. Liam Tegenemt. Daniel Tiergardoon. Callie Titus. Diana Tivinskaya. Sydney Tranell. Jack Twait. Hayden Umorin. Ella Vakiner. Gretchen Van Eideking. Alessandra Vargas. Bryce Way. Carrie Wang. Sterling Warren. Sydney Westgard. Cormac Wilson. Rachel Wambacher-Hess. Mingjun Yang. Richard Yang. Grace Young. Steve Zhang. Nicholas Zhang. Flora Zhu. Claire Zubsik. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening for our National Honor Society ceremony. Congratulations to all of our new inductees. Thank you and have a great evening.